Hey everybody, welcome back to the Highway to the Zemus-Zone League opening match. I'm joined here by Vitasia. Vitasia, talk a lot.
Well, I'm good at that. My good friend Rivers McCown doing excellent. Yeah, we're at the highway to the Zemus-Zone. Here we go. We're down to the top 32 runners qualified through the league qualifiers, and we're going to get a little bit of a sneak peek at what kind of matchups we're going to be looking at here over the next month or so, aren't we?
That's absolutely correct. We got a whole slate of matches sewn up for you here, and as you can see on the screen now, all of those matches will be happening. The very first match, of course, will be tonight, and that will be eLmaGus, fcoughlin, Muppets, Supremacy. Vitasia, did you have any instant reactions when you were looking at this schedule?
My personal instant reaction, because I was fortunate enough to be on there, is that I'm not matched up against eLmaGus in any capacity whatsoever. So thank you, whoever did that scheduling. But there's no freebie match here. Like, there is at least two solid, like, top tier runners in every race. You know, there's different tiers, and there's some people who I think, like myself, got in with some risky plays in one or two of the matches. So it's really interesting to see what's going to happen coming out of this top 32 in some of these matches. You know, it's a point system: 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, 1 point in order to get through. So it's really about the matchups. I love seeing, you know, I'm a big fan of a lot of the old Z3 folks coming over here. We got Big Dunka, Hippos, and those folks, but then people like muppetsinspace, who have really blown people out of the water through the league qualifiers, and so many people have gotten so much better at this randomizer in this month of the league qualifiers. It's really been a treat to see, and there's no easy matchup at this point in time.
Yeah, eLmaGus does seem to have asserted himself as probably the best in the qualifying stages. He won 2 of them. Muppets won 1 of them. This is the only match that we have that matches 2 league qualifier winners. So really excited to be able to put this one up first. You can thank our friends, if you like or dislike the schedule, you can thank our friend Random. Random had a big say in things. Nobody actually messed with the schedule at all beyond just putting together the numbers there where the name should be and letting it all flow out.
At Rivers, I see you and I face out against each other at some point. It's you and me, and then it looks like Ginger Damas and Big Dunka. So that's gonna be a fun matchup, I think.
I'll try to make sure not to give you too much more material early in this match.
You know what? I'm just gonna study you entirely from this point on. Just nonstop studying Rivers.
All right, so that's good enough for me as far as covering this stuff. If you want to look at the schedule on your own, by all means head over to the link and we'll pull up the main page here. We got Supremacy, fcoughlin, muppetsinspace, eLmaGus. As we were saying, eLmaGus probably the favorite in the tournament at this point.
Well, and he's absolutely the favorite simply because he's won probably the most matchups going through here, and he has very intimidating times whenever he's in a race, but he's not always first place. And in a randomizer sort of situation, it's not always about what you do. When you're doing those large kind of group races, it's a different mentality than when you're in this kind of 4-person race. It's as much about making the right gambles or making a really great gamble at a weird time. So just because eLmaGus has been the leader up to this point in time in those large group races, these smaller races are an entirely different beast.
And one of the things I really like about these flags is that you can have incredible route divergence just based on what key items you get early on. You could have an early darkness crystal and an early hook, and some people might go darkness, some people might go hook. They're both totally logical plays based on what we know about the randomizer. So you could have somebody find the right thing on the moon, kind of betting it all. You could have somebody following traditional paths and getting stonewalled. So, I mean, really, when you look at kind of what K2 does to this flag set, it makes the races a lot more up in the air, which is something that when I was trying to balance things out, I was really excited about throwing that in the mix.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, the K2 is one of the many things that are different. The league qualifiers, you know, just had the single K seed. K2, you know, mixes in all of the summoned areas. So Sylph, Odin, Ashura, Leviathan, and Bahamut, and then all of the bosses up in the moon. So it really just adds quite a bit more variability to it all, and it makes it more fun, IMO.
And here we start.
Oh my goodness. So we start with a spear, a Kydia, and a Palom. This is, I would call this a little bit rough. Yeah.
That's a forum there. So this is actually one of the seeds now, because we have switched to S2. There will be no attack items available in stores to help guide you through this. All of our runners are going to feel this pain now and have to find some sort of weaponry, cobble together some way to actually kill a boss or two.
Yeah, so we're probably going to see some early dives in here. We have the T3, which, you know, you can find some decent weapons. I think you're hoping probably for some sort of arrow and bow to help Rydia along here. And there's a Palom that's going to be in our Baron slot, and all 4 runners immediately going to Baron.
Yeah, the children found Palom there. They also found King and Queen Evelyn, so they know that fight is at least somewhat free. However, what's behind it may not be, and that may keep anybody from diving that super early.
Absolutely. So we see some different strategies. Ooh, some Artemis arrows. That might be enough to get us through at least these early part of the bosses here. Had to go dive in some water for those, and a lot of people avoid those particular locations. And nothing of value in the item shop here.
Still got to find a bow. I'm interested to see if anybody just plays with that flame whip there. That's A stars that you can make right now. That is A play.
Yeah. All right, so we do see Fred is on his way. He's going, looks like, to Damsian already. Not going to go anywhere else. Supremacy is also making a very similar play. We'll see where Muppets and Magus end up going directly. Looks like they're making similar calls.
Yeah, with these flags, it's hard to fault them just because it's so imperative that you can have items to actually survive whatever you run into. And unfortunately, kind of with the hand that they were dealt here, there's not really a lot of certainty at this point. You could run into, if you go to Antlion Cave right now, you have damage to kill the thing, but you could run into a wyvern. One of the big flag changes that we did for this was taking away the W flag, which means that if Wyvern sees you, he will mega nuke you. It will happen.
Yeah, we see it looks like eLmaGus has a flame whip, and then he's going to get some Artemis arrows and a great bow on Porum. So he's opening a few more treasure chests, and it does look like Fred is opening some more chests over at Troya. But Muppets is going to give us our first look over here at maybe another character slot item over here on Mount Hobbs. So this is going to be interesting for him.
Yeah, Muppets gambling on this top of Hobbs' character. And
lots of crystal equipment and a young with the Magus Sisters.
This is actually a very tough fight for this slot, by the way. He does not have a lot of damage that can penetrate that middle sister from where he is. So he's like got to be thinking at this point, how can I actually get out of this battle without it being too long? And I think we might see a reset pretty quickly here.
Yeah, you really kind of have to see a reset here. I don't see much possibility at this point in time. We do see Supremacy stocking up on some Star Veils over in Fabul, though.
Yeah, that'll come in handy if Supremacy happens to run into our pal Wyvern, as well as Bahamut. The Star Veils have a lot of use in this. They also can take care of the count that Plague does. So there are a lot of different ways that you can utilize them effectively.
All right, and Fred showing us the items that are over here in the Troya item shops. We saw both Sirens and Coffins available at the 2 item shops. So Coffins and Sirens, both 2 very important items for, we're doing egg grinding later if we end up getting to the Underworld. Something to keep an eye on. We'll be heading back there before too long, but Fred is the first one with that knowledge. And we have 3 runners now, all in Antlion Cave. So cleaning out the treasures here, and we are going to see what boss we find shortly.
We got a dark matter, so that's one good thing out of the way.
Oh man, those dark matters are so important.
Gotta stock up on those. Actually, with the sirens, I might not be surprised if somebody tried to grind Palom up on ordeals, given how this has started so far. I'm not saying it's going to happen because we haven't seen any of the key items yet, but that might be in play.
And it does look like Muppets is going to be doing the Demus fight. Maybe just trying to get Kitty a couple more levels. And there's Bacon right there. It says, hello.
Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
And a plague fight with
Ooh.
2 low. I mean, that's just rough right now. Although with Artemis arrows, it's possible. Holy cow, that countdown is coming in so fast.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight that looks a lot closer than it is. Yeah. The Artemis arrows and the Great Bow, one thing about Plague is due to its status as a flying monster, it actually takes a lot more damage from bow and arrow. So that was what enabled eLmaGus to win that fight handily. And now we see the pink tail on stream. So should these runners find a hook, they have a free adamant armor, which will come in very much in handy given what we've asked them to do today.
I mean, it's nice. I don't know if that's the first thing you necessarily want to see right at the moment, though. You're probably hoping for some more progression as opposed to something that could maybe later become something awesome.
So you see Supremacy resetting already. Fred doing 4 damage a turn here.
Oh, I mean, Fred's got it a little bit. I'm not quite sure how he's getting this set up. So he's, equipping, hoping. And now we see Magus is going to go over here and have his try at Yang. Again, I don't know if he's going to be properly equipped enough for this yet.
I think he's in a lot better shape with those Artemis arrows. That should help a lot.
Artemis arrows and flame whip, I think will absolutely be nice. I gotta think that he picked up a lit bolt somewhere. Yeah, so, and that goes through wall, I believe.
It does, but it won't do a lot of damage to his current party. At this point, it might be kind of elementary that you just want the damage anyway. But yeah, it's something where he might have to reset this too, just given how this has gone early. Neither Supremacy nor Fred using the Star Veils on the Plague boss. You can do that. That actually makes it so that the boss is free even though it takes forever to do.
Yeah, and you were right. Magus is also going ahead and doing a reset. That might be a location that we come back to after we get a little bit more experience. Maybe after doing the Fusoya boss. It's usually worth 2 to 4 levels right around this point in time.
So that looks like it's going to come up close here at the very least. Put some damage on. Oh, 122. Come on.
Oh, no. I don't know. Rydia, you're going to do it. Is he going to do it? Oh, that's clutch!
Fred with the clutch kill there. So he will pick up his pink tail as well. Muppets charging into this fight just now, about to learn what we already know. But he will actually use the Star Bell. So this is the strategy. You use the Star Bell here. The count will reflect. And because it reflects, he will keep trying to cast it over and over again. Now, depending on the spot, sometimes you can wait out this fight, but it's probably safer to just keep on whacking at Plague. So Muppets is going to do that, and then he'll pick up his pink tail.
Yep, that seems fair. Let's see. So all of our runners are kind of running over each other's spots, which is fairly common for this early game. We've not received anything that really deviates from this. Magus is going to be the first one over here to give us the Fabool Gauntlet. We'll see what boss he ends up fighting here. And yeah, Dudit, that maybe it seems slower, but it's a safer. And sometimes, you have to take into consideration the time that you lose in slowing down the fight versus the time you gain from dying. And that recovery time is so worse that you're willing to take a little bit slower of a fight in order to prevent you from dying.
This is actually a really rough spot for Mom Bomb, too, by the way. Forum and Rydia are very low HP characters, and if Mom Bomb happens to explode and blow them both up, then you've wasted 2 minutes for nothing.
Yeah, and Mom Bomb has some interesting shenanigans going on with HP, because it's like an increased HP count to the point where you can almost never actually kill it and it has to explode. Is that right?
Yeah, there is a basically the easy way to say it is if it's an early game boss, basically it's 10,000 HP plus to actually kill it outright. So with the weapons that these guys have, that's really not possible at this point.
So it's just like hope you survive the explosion at that point in time.
I'm foreseeing a lot of resets here.
Yeah, I'm seeing Supremacy is probably looking at a reset for his Hobbs fight. I'm seeing eLmaGus is probably going to reset here. Oh no, he survived!
Yeah, just barely. Wow, that's nice. So hoping the Lip Bolt does some damage here.
Wow, wow.
Hourglass 2 is also a good call. These guys are not technically bosses, so you can stop them.
So at this point, it's just a matter of time. He's going to be in a little bit better position at this point in time, and it looks like Fred is trying to set things up for this fight. Supremacy is doing reasonably well on his fight, though.
If Supremacy doesn't get charmed, he'll be the first to get Yang here. He doesn't get owned by Charm, the spell that Sandy can cast on her own.
Wow, so Supremacy
Nice.
with the clutch. And still with a level 1 Rydia, but you know.
This has been a very mean seed so far.
And you would expect nothing less for these four. These four are certainly capable of handling this kind of seed. They're all just amazing runners right now.
Interesting glitch on Fred's screen there. If you happen to... it's hard to explain, but if you happen to just get to a save point or something, and you haven't saved in a while, sometimes that Dark Knight Tisa will pop up.
Yeah, I did see that. Interesting over on Supremacy side, getting past that kind of roadblock of Ninja Sisters, picked up both an Assassin Dagger and a Dancing Dagger that was on Mount Cobb. So Rydia not quite as useless as she once was.
And now eLmaGus picking up the pass for his efforts in Fagul. Nothing that actually helps us in this moment, but let the key item toward the count, and he has potential to not see the moon now, which I think he's got to be happy about.
And a Tiara that is located there. That's going to be nice for Rydia. And Dragoon Shield, if we ever find someone who could possibly maybe use a shield, maybe.
Oh, come on. You don't want us to just see all casters all the time? And Yang?
Yeah, that's not my game. I'll fully admit that one.
Alright, so I bet eLmaGus will be the first to show us that Baron in fight. It should be pretty early, at least. The first part of it is just King, Queen, Evelyn.
Yeah, that's a relatively easy fight. eLmaGus is going to kind of route things in relatively together so he reduces his flight time. He's going to check on the items here. And hourglasses, which are nice. He's going to pick up a handful of those from the Silvera shop. And then the items in the grass. These can be some nice items, if not for use, then at least for sale to get some sort of money. And got blocked there a little bit.
Looks like another reset incoming on Muppet side. Yeah, there it is. Oof.
These runners have to be just cussing up a storm. Because, I mean, Rydia Porum start where you have lots of heavy melee damage into the Bomb and eLmaGus Sisters early. I mean, it's just rough at this point in time.
eLmaGus going to try the Mega Sisters fight again. This time he has the TR, he has a little bit of extra magic defense. That will actually reduce, I believe, all lightning damage to 1 that he would take.
Oh, and Rydia one-shot Mindy, so
and he has there. And he has a Mute Knife on with Rydia, so yeah. The Mute Knife will do 4 times damage to any mage. All the Mage's Sisters actually qualify as mages, so you can see Rydia will put out some actual damage output here for once.
I mean, it's nice, and I don't know. There's some runners that don't necessarily know that, and that was very heads up by eLmaGus to notice that it was going to be there in the. He had to buy it, if I remember. It was in the shop in Fabul.
Yeah, these flags will sometimes send you run into shops. There's no guarantee. Oh, the charm, the unlucky charm here.
Yeah, that's rough. If Rydia ends up smacking Porum in the face, that might be tough. But he's going to equip nothing and try to smack some sense into Rydia. Kid-on-kid violence here.
Oh, come on, Babby. Come on, Babby, hit it. And that won't. Getting hit by lightning will not awake Rydia either. So.
All right. So we also see Fred has completed his Febul fight, so he's in a relatively good spot here. Porum is just not able to. What's wrong? Okay, Porum, you can hit a kid. It's okay. You're also a kid. That's how it works.
Kid-on-kid violence deemed acceptable by Vitasia.
That's some of the best YouTube videos. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so we'll see if Magus can pull this one out. I mean, he's in kind of a rush. Oh, he's just to the point. Here's letting Yang hit a kid. That might not be approved.
Maybe Rydia is just like really powerful. Did we look into that? Just too good.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Sandy, for slowing your help.
There we go. Finally. Had to play with bow and arrows to make it happen, but Magus was able to get through.
All right. Meanwhile, Supremacy's over here, back in Antlion Cave. We have Muppets going back.
The charm again.
Oh, no. Okay, less struggle this time. Oh, but Yang's almost dead. Oh my god.
Yeah, Kirchen brings up a good point. Nobody at this point has to think that they're ahead of the game at all, because the way they've all played so far, the rudeness that they've been greeted by, that has to make every runner be thinking they're behind at this point.
Yeah, someone somewhere found a guide drum to one-shot the sisters, and they're gone. And Magus does complete it. GG, Magus.
Woo.
And welcome to eLmaGus' screen. Hopefully you don't have epilepsy, because it's getting all bluzzy and flurry and whatever other words you can have there. It's just a mess with that poison.
Yeah, eLmaGus' screen is very crunk right now. Oh, are we getting a shop check here?
Might be getting a shop check. Yeah, I thought I saw someone check it earlier, but we're also going to see who's taking a nap. I think we saw Fusoya sick earlier. Yep, we have a Fu who is sick in Kaipo. So I guarantee you, if we see a Sand Ruby, they're going to make a beeline over here.
Yeah, and these flags, Fusoya very rarely does not get to his full HP spell list potential. So unlike in the last round, when there was some utility in perhaps leaving him behind early on if you had an early go mode seed, in this case, every runner who finds that Sand Ruby will be trying to immediately get him.
good job to both Magus and Fred for dodging the most difficult boss in this entire game, the old lady in the Kaipo item shop.
And Muppets also has a Yang now. So we're 20 minutes in. We've got 2 key items. 1 Gungnir Spear that nobody just yet. And we have, what, 2 people through with Yang?
3 people, actually. We got Fred, I think, is the only one without Yang at this point in time.
All right. Well, looks like Supremacy might be the first to check out this Baron Inn spot.
Well, Magus is right on his tail at this point. Fred is going to be taking a dip in here, too, looks like, maybe.
A great meeting point.
I mean, Baron, you know, there's varying routes to open the game, and different people have different strategies, but they all pretty well converge at the same spot, right at Baron Inn.
Alright, so King and Queen Eblin, as we've pointed out before, pretty much pushovers. At this point, they have enough magic power to actually, but pretty rare, and Yang has the HP to withstand a lot. Supremacy's Dancing Dagger will help a lot here too.
Yeah, that Dancing Dagger is perfect. I mean, when you get it that early game, it's done. And yep, Supremacy with the win there. So here's going to be our first look at this mystery's second boss. Oh, man. CPU. This is interesting in the fact that everything is percentage-based. But man, this
is going to be a lot of damage output for this party.
Yeah, I mean, luckily Porum does no Cure 2 at this point in time, so Porum will be able to keep up with the heals as much as Mazer can put out. It's just a matter of can Yang and Rydia out-damage everything before Porum runs out of mana.
This will be fine because Rydia has the dagger, and the dagger can go through wall, I believe, so...
See...
This will be a long fight, but it should be good.
I thought dagger got reflected from wall because on a seed last night I played, Edward had a dagger reflected back at him. So
that I'd like to see.
I was super salty about it, I'm not gonna lie. But Supremacy looks like he's actually in a pretty good spot right now. Now, it is worth noting that compared to the flags that we had during the qualifier seed, the J2 flags were just in regular J flags, which means Yang does not have his power ability like he would in the Japanese version of the game, which means his attacks are a little bit weaker than you would like right now.
Yeah, Supremacy should be the first to run into our boy Palom, who will give the team some actual offensive firepower if he can actually survive fights. He gets level 2 spells very early. So, I mean, there's hope, is what we're saying. There's hope for the future here.
There is hope. And if this... Okay, so CPU is down, so just the attacker left. But if there's no key item here, we're kind of forced to go up ordeals, aren't we?
That'd be the case, yeah.
At which point, all of our runners will think they're behind because it's the last place they've ever gone.
Or we could get a magma key and everything could be fine.
Burn the witch! Burn the witch! Okay, so magma. So we're going to the Underworld is what you're saying.
I mean, I don't think they have much choice at this point. They could go up ordeals, but there's not a whole lot in play for them. They don't have Tella, don't have Cecil. They don't have Fu in hand yet, so really not a whole lot of reason to avoid going underground. I believe that will be the consensus play.
Well, the interesting thing is they will have both access to both sirens and coffins. So if they want to, they can do like a quick mini grind just to get them up to be able to survive some of the bosses that are down here.
Oh, you'll see the mini grind for sure at this point with the siren and the coffin, because if you can get Palom to Quake, that's a big offensive upgrade from where they would normally be. I would expect most of our owners to do that. I'm not saying everybody will do it, but I would expect you would see that.
I would say it's something I would do, mostly because I'm chicken and I don't like low HP fights. But they're in a good spot to be able to do so right now. And I mean, they're setting up very nicely. You can also go ahead and check this item shop here, but I don't know what else. Maybe, Bacchus wines?
Bacchus wines and life potions would be the things missing on the table for me right now.
Well, there's life potions. So there we go.
Yeah, the life potions, not only for grinding are important, but also at this stage in the game in general are when you can run into any fight that can, whop you good in the face. The life potions help with survivability a lot and can prolong. You can kind of struggle your way to victory.
All right, so we see both Supremacy and eLmaGus going ahead, and looks like they're going to be heading into the Underworld just about at the same time. I do believe Magus, and yeah, he got his Magma Key, got that fight through as well. So Fred's the only one without a Young at this point in time, still managing to get through the CPU fight.
That's impressive. That's dedication to a cause, right? Given what we're seeing him working with here. The 97 and 90 HP girls here.
Absolutely. And there we see Supremacy just heading straight to the grind spot, and so is Magus. They're both doing exactly as predicted.
So this is a grind that is native to the randomizer only. In FF2 US, sirens do not exist. And in FF4 JP, where we're getting these J items from, sirens are not easily viable in any way that you could do this. So this is something that is basically a randomizer only grind. And these yellow D eggs have 1800 HP, but are vulnerable to coffins and can be one-shot in various ways. There's assassin daggers, there's status ailments you can throw on them. You could throw an hourglass to stop them if you really had to just, push through it if you needed to. And this is kind of the main early game grind, and in some cases in K1, the only grind you really need to know.
Well, and it's really setting both Supremacy and Magus up very, very well. And Fred, it looks like, is also going to be going right into the Underworld, even without Young. So he's in the all-mage party for Fred. Muppets is kind of the laggard at this point in time, just now on his CPU fight. That's going to take him a little bit. In the meantime, both eLmaGus and Supremacy are getting their grind on. I take that back.
Yeah, Magus walking toward some monsters here. This is a free chest, so the chest has a key item potential, could also be something else powerful given what we've mixed in these flags. So this is a good spot to go early.
Now it's worth noting that Magus completely avoided just about every treasure chest that was through there. There is one treasure in the Feymarch kind of area that is a monster in a box, so he didn't open anything on his way. Could be some good items that are in there, but he did not want to risk it. He just went ahead, only opening what's here in the Feymarch itself, and rewarded with, I believe that was either it was an edge weapon. It was a Masamune or a Murasame, one of the two.
That was a Murasame, yes, and quickly selling to get Ether 2s with this party, probably a good idea, just because there's so many mages.
Are you saying mages need? Yeah, that's weird.
Also, a fairly good idea because some of the grinds, because we do not have the MP underflow glitch and these glitchless seeds, the Ether 2s can help kind of prolong one of those grinds if somehow that was needed.
So here's a bit of route divergence here. Supremacy is going to go ahead and go into the Dwarf Castle to fight Vivalis that's over here. This is horrible spot for Vivalis. I would reset right now. In the meantime, Magus is actually going over here into and going to be fighting the Ashura and Leviathan spots.
Yeah, he picked up hourglasses early, and the officer-soldier fight actually is hourglassable, so you can dive in here and pick up these guys, pick them off with a quake, as you'll see on the screen. It's not a difficult fight at all, as long as you can survive that first wave. And these officer soldiers, actually, because they're attacking from the back row, are pretty unlikely to actually hit you. If he had come upon the guard fight, then things would have been a little bit different. But he probably would have had at least a surviving character to throw that hourglass.
Yeah, so Supremacy went ahead and did a reset, and Fred said, nah, I'm not even trying my hand there.
So I'm not going to lie, the DK Cecil at Leviathan spot is a little bit terrifying, right?
Slightly, yeah. Leviathan is pretty fast, and he can do a lot of damage, particularly with a low HP party with the twins and Kidia right now.
I'm actually surprised Magus isn't using the coffin on this guy, just because it would take less time. But I suppose Berserk, he'll get there eventually. Not a big deal. But those guys are not immune to instant death, and they can be taken out that way.
All right, so we see Muppets actually going over here. He's still in the overworld. He's checking out what's going on over here in the Troya spots. And I think the other folks have looted it already. Just a little bit. What? What?
And the early dive paying off for eLmaGus, finding the one item he needs to beat the game.
And he's got the pass, too. Here's the grind, here's the go, and everyone else is going to say, what?
What just happened? What just happened is eLmaGus found the crystal. He's got the pass. He only needs to grind levels on Palom, Rydia, and Torum so that they have enough HP to survive Big Bangs. And then he will be good to go.
And Magus knows the nuke nerf to be able to nerf the Big Bangs on Zeromus. So he's just gonna get set up and then run. It's not gonna be very much at all. We're talking, a K2 seed, we're gonna be sub 50 minutes, which is insane at how quick this is.
Yeah, so right now what we're seeing is he's going to sell off everything else in his inventory he possibly can that is now irrelevant to him. He's going to buy as many sirens as he can, and we are just going to see him grind sirens and coffins, I should say, and grind constantly on these poor eggs. The omelets we made today.
How do you like your omelets, Rivers? Do you like them like Santa Fe style, or do you like them lots of meat in them?
I like veggies in my omelets, actually. I'm a big spinach omelet guy.
You are less of a man for that. No, I'm kidding. I honestly probably would have said that no matter what you said. It's okay.
And Fred immediately resetting on. Like, no thanks. I've seen this story before. The Novelist in that slot, actually, when she tornado forms, you can only really hit her with the middle character, and they have to be doing a lot of damage to begin with, and none of the characters that we have at this point actually fit that bill. Somebody could have, if they needed to, leveled Yang up and then berserked him and had a chance at, winning that fight. But as it stands, we know that that's not actually necessary in any way.
All right, so what is Magus doing right now? Is he, I guess, he's looking for a fifth character is what he is. Yeah, he sees the balls and says, nope.
He was looking for one, but he didn't like what he saw.
And I think that's something that took me the longest to do when I first started out in free enterprise randomizer, was knowing when to just hard reset, because you were like pinning yourself down to a worthless and useless fight that was going to do nothing but spend time. knowing when to do that, I think, is a talent that isn't relevant or as relevant in a lot of other randomizers. Like, we have a lot of people who are coming over from Link to the Past randomizer. There's not a lot of situations where you full-on hard reset.
So Fred actually has found a character here. It's not Yang. It's Sid hanging out with the package. So he can pick up that character, and that'll give him a chance to, from his perspective, survive and get Yang. Supremacy also picking up the crystal. He is in go mode as well.
Yeah, so at this point, Magus is just full-on Siren, and he's going to 4-man it at this point, and it looks like Supremacy is going to be doing the same thing.
So one thing to point out with these flags is that the J1 flag option actually lowers down how much experience that Rydia needs to get nuke from level 55 to level 50. So in theory, if Magus wanted to, he doesn't have to do this, he can go quicker. But if he wanted to, he could have both Pelham and Rydia learn nuke and make the Zeromus fight pretty free. I would be curious to see kind of how far into the grind he goes.
Well, and it'll be interesting how he switches things around. Right now he's using Rydia as his kind of agility anchor in the middle there. I don't know what level Rydia needs to stop leveling at in order to get that nice agility spot.
I can pull that up pretty fast, actually.
Because at this point, I think when you're at this party, minimizing the number of big bangs is almost more important than getting Rydia up to the point where you can do a lot of nuke damage. Like, I would kill her off and then let everyone else go to town.
So level to get Rydia to be the character that can have 28 agility, I would take level 57 or 58. So that's not going to happen.
Okay, then.
That will not be happening on this stream, I predict. I think at this point, and I'm just guessing by the HP totals because I haven't actually seen Magus's menu because he's, playing fast and whatnot, like a jerk. I would guess at this point that we would not see very much agility manipulation so much as just straight grinding.
Just grind up to the point where you can survive a couple big bangs and go from there.
Yeah. And Supremacy joining him in this task. Fred has won the fight here that lets him get Sid. And Muppets, I think, is about to run into the package itself here.
Oh, look, Supremacy is doing looks like he's killing off Palum in order to set him up as an agility anchor.
Now, I have to see where he is. And I'm saying this, I don't know, so I can't say anything for certain. But I would think that he would be too high already at this point.
I do not know. I'm glad you have a spreadsheet. I don't, and I have no idea. It is interesting to see because Palum has, he can get up to level 50 and still have about 2,000 HP. He has significantly more HP than Rydia.
I'm not even looking at the spreadsheet. I'm just looking off the character or level up .txt file. I'm not that fancy.
Like this, I feel like the Wizard of Oz veil has been pulled. Like you're revealing all your secrets, and you're just a man. Rivers, the legend is dying before my eyes. Keep some of the mystery.
It's okay. Everybody already thinks eLmaGus is better than me anyway. Yeah, we're seeing 3 grinds on stream. We're seeing Fred charge up Ordeal. So that's even though it's not really relevant as far as winning the race, it's something new to see.
It is. Muppets kind of did just kind of one of those half grinds. He does not have the crystal. He did not get that spot there. D-looters. Oh, that's horrible.
It's not unbeatable, actually, at this point, because Rydia does have that. That will put some hurt on these guys. But Fred opting out. He realized that he went a little too early on that attack. And you got to put a little damage on those guys first. So we're treated to a Jet Seed here. Supremacy and eLmaGus are the ones, if you're joining us late, that I've recognized. Everybody else needs to head directly to the land of some monsters underground, where the Shura spot had the Baron guards holding the crystal. The Hypo Inn guard, I should say, to be correct.
Yeah, that was a really super nice spot, all things said, for the crystal. I mean, we have an early pass and an early crystal in the K2 seed. I was really looking forward to heading up to the Lunar Subterrane.
Yeah, sorry. We'll have to save that for our race with Asia.
You know what? I'm fine for a 17-17 race, as long as everyone else is doing it too. I'm confident by 17-17 strats.
So will Muppets actually dive in here? Is the question. He sees Valvelus. He has not reset yet.
This is gutsy. When you have, I mean, that magic defense that Valvelus has when in spin mode with 3 mages is just intimidating. Like, that seems like an instant reset to me.
So Forum got curved for eLmaGus, and he's still going on this grind. I would say that right now, eLmaGus is in the lead. Supremacy is probably a good 3 to 5 minutes behind, and the other players don't have the crystal yet, so it doesn't actually matter. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's super close, and I think Supremacy is going to be incredibly happy to finish. eLmaGus has developed a reputation. I think that's fair to say in the community. And Supremacy is going to finish very close to eLmaGus, is what it's looking like. And he's going to be incredibly happy with that performance.
So Muppets reset out of that fight after he learned that Quake does not touch Davos in that spot. Yeah, when she gets spinning, not only to do attacks miss her, but depending on the spot, her magic defense can go through the roof as well. And that is one of those spots where you do not want to run into Valvelus without Berserk and some Cures lined up. Yeah, our guess is that Supremacy is not leveling up power because of agility. We haven't actually seen for a fact what's going on there. eLmaGus is diving the Dwarf shop, I presume to, sorry, the Dwarf Treasure Trove here. I assume to try to buy more things, more sirens and or offense. Something that we might see from Supremacy as well, actually, now that I think about it. One thing that is in our runner's favor, actually, that I'm not sure if eLmaGus ran out or not, but as long as Porum does not use up her last arrow, she can continue firing these Artemis arrows and killing the egg, then she will never actually use the last arrow. That's a vanilla FF4 glitch.
Yeah, and it's a great glitch to have at that point in time. There is a question in chat. Do the bosses in the game scale up or down depending on where they end up being put in? The answer is the boss stats are the same in every spot. So, for example, the HP, the speed, things like that are static in the spot. So lower HP spots are going to be earlier, higher HP spots are going to be later, faster, slower, stronger, weaker, etc. Which is why some spots have stronger magic attacks, weaker physical attacks and defense, things like that. What changes is the attacks and, of course, the itself. So, for example, fcoughlin is fighting Asura in the Mylan Z spot, has to face the back attack, so Asura gets some back attack spots there, gets the first couple attacks naturally. Other times, for example, the spot that Rubicante is normally in has very high speed because he has kind of these empty moves in opening and closing his cape. So if you get something that moves very, very quickly anyway, and just does nothing but attack, you can really do some damage there. So different spots are good or bad depending on what is there, if that makes sense.
So we got Muppets about to find out that he's going to get the crystal here. We've got Fred playing on Ashura here. This is really rough spot for Ashura, given what he has to work with, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't seen... There's been some Star Veils and Moon Veils, so he could do wall strats if... And I think he's looking at that.
Yeah, he'll be putting that on her pretty soon here. It's just a matter of her damage output being pretty high on the spot. And she's very fast, and her Fred's characters are very fragile. The Supremacy, you can see doing more of this grind with Rydia Virus.
Yeah, it looks like, in terms of pure level, Supremacy has caught up with eLmaGus, who had to come back and buy more coffins and sirens. So, Supremacy, having the foresight to, or the sheer resources to be able to buy more in his initial go-through, is really in a pretty good spot right now over eLmaGus.
Well, it's close, I think.
Oh, it's absolutely, I mean, it's very close. I mean,
Yeah.
I would be thrilled to be this close to eLmaGus, let's put it that way.
Well, Yang is able to pump up almost thing one. That's a 9. And you see eLmaGus pulling up the Artemis bow here, talking about that glitch, the glitch I was talking about earlier, the vanilla thing. Fred has defeated Ashura and is now running away from her. A fun fact to note is that if you run away while the enemy is doing that crumbling animation, you actually do save some frames.
I did not know that. Thank you for giving me some sort of advantage in our race to come shortly, sir.
Oh yeah, that'll really help you out a lot.
That'll make all the difference, right?
Alright, so what's Fred's reward for charging up this mountain bravely and courageously? A spoon. Good job, Fred. You can now almost have a dinner party.
I mean, spoon in a pan sounds like a good time to me.
You spoony pan.
Now, what we call each other in the bedroom is none of their business.
Wow. Shots unfired? So, eLmaGus over here. Looks like he might be 2 or 3 levels ahead. It's pretty close, though. And Supremacy has not grinded Palom at all. He left him dead from the very beginning. So, curious to see how that pays off.
Yeah, it should be interesting. This will show kind of the value of having a dedicated agility anchor versus just going for it, I think.
And I'm wondering if eLmaGus is actually just going to roll to... what am I saying here? If he's actually just going to try to get nuke for Palom and Rydia and call it a day. Like,
I mean, if you're going full on nuke strats, yeah, I can see that.
By the pure logic here, either of them could have dove in Zeromus as soon as they got Porum Cure 4. It's not by any means a safe fight, but they could have done that. So I'm curious to see which one of them leaves first. We see a learned nuke on eLmaGus' screen now. I believe that was for Rydia.
Muppets in Space is probably feeling pretty good about where he is as well, knowing that that was kind of a risk right there for that particular play. I don't know, like, how would you feel if you were in Muppet spot right now? Like, feeling relatively good, or like, nah, that was too easy, I gotta be behind?
In a race against, normal people, I would probably feel pretty good. If I knew that Magus was in this race, though, I'd feel behind for sure. Just given all that's gone on with Muppets' various resets and his issues getting that Mega Sisters fight handled and so on.
That's true. Oh, I think Supremacy's done.
Supremacy boldly going for it, or is he? We'll see in a second.
Yeah, it looks like he's heading right there. That's, if he can land.
Remember, the sirens are there too. Sirens are there too. So he could be faking you out. We'll see. The save is a telling sign, though. The save says something.
And he's setting everything up. Yeah, I really think he's doing it now. He's setting up his party for the right spot.
Checking some shops real quick, just in case. Found a short bow first time. Good job. Love that short bow.
Man, that's the best short bow ever. What are you talking about?
Headband there. That is a handy find. That will boost Yang's output, and the guy out helmet will boost magic offense as well. Oh man, I really hope this doesn't come back to my just for spending time doing these little things. So this is what makes a race like Free Enterprise great. You can have kind of best practice rules, but when you're up against kind of one of the best players here in Omega, sometimes you'll see our players that are comparatively a little bit behind him will actually take the risks, and so this could turn out very, very well for Supremacy, or he could die and lose confidence and go regrind. I don't know. We're about to find out.
Yeah, it's all about how confident he is in these nerf strats. And at this level, when you're at the round of 32 and you want to make it even to the next level, taking a chance and doing things that you're uncomfortable with sometimes is what you need to do in order to get to the next level.
All right, Supremacy has taken the plunge now. He cannot exit from here. And if you've never watched this Randomizer, normally the pass in Toroya takes you to this little bar, burlesque house sort of place. In this game, we've modified it to take you directly to Zeromus. So once you enter that little serpent trench-esque road, you cannot come back, and you are now forced into this fight.
All right, so Supremacy is going to be the first. We're going to get to see what our Zeromus sprite is. Our wonderful folks have been working hard to get some new Zeromus sprites in, so we have no idea what our boss is actually going to be.
Correct. So Scala, our tracker today, doing a great job, although not given much to work with from our runners. Has painstakingly put in like 150 new sprites sometime in the past 2 weeks, so could see any number of amazing sprites. 183, sorry.
Zemus.
Ooh, that's a big mech.
That's a pretty sizable mech right there.
That's a tricky wicket. Supremacy. Interesting to see what he does with this. He has 1 Cure 3. I'm also interested to see if he actually is going to attempt to throw things off walls, or if he's just going to go try to straight kill it. He's just waiting, so it looks like he's committed to bouncing some spells here. eLmaGus now right on his heels, about to enter the fight on his own, but with a higher level Palom. And Muppets is grinding. Fred is finding out that Davos is not easy.
Okay, so Palom has the Star Veil on, so he's going to be doing some nuke bouncing, looks like. And if the Star Veil falls off, it's Palom. Who cares?
More than likely has determined that Palom's not surviving this Big Bang anyway. Unless he nerfs it properly. So if that... HP will probably just let the thing bounce. Or, sorry, let the column die. I'm fine with it. So will this nerf work? Is the question. Got the virus off. Save the Cure 3 for the opportune moment.
Oh man, that was close there for Porum.
Are we going to see more? Or we see if the nerf kills or not. Palom lives, okay.
Got the nerf off on the second one. That's a difficult thing to do. So Palom is still alive, which is amazing.
His Cure 4 will reflect, but that's okay. That's not what Supremacy cares about at this point. And eLmaGus on his screen has started the nuke brigade as well. You're going to see a lot of nukes from both Palom and Rydia.
Absolutely. This is a race coming down to the finish here. They're both going to be right on each other's heels. Supremacy with a minute and a half lead, but I would say with the more levels that eLmaGus has, he's going to be able to do a little bit more damage. So we'll see if he can catch up here.
So Supremacy just forgot about that whole black hole thing and wiped his Palom.
Oops.
This is why this is kind of a more technical. Gang no longer berserk, so is he trying to nerf you? He must be. I don't know if he's going to try to reset and get nukes back going on again, or the advantage that eLmaGus has now is that Rydia and Palom both have nuke. Nuke is the fastest casting spell, so as long as he can just put a wall up and keep bouncing off the nukes over and over and over again, they will survive. Or Tom could just wipe. Whatever he wants to do, really.
I mean, why not?
Seeing a lot of dead Paloms around here.
Which is interesting because Rydia is the one with lower HP, but I think she has that tiara on to help with that magic defense.
Ooh, Supremacy just getting out of that one.
Ooh,
So
wow, that was close, yeah.
So Supremacy has tipped Zeromus, Zemus in this case. At this point, he's in phase 2, so he can no longer win the fight via reflect nuke strats.
At this point, it's just going for it, and man, that was close.
eLmaGus, I think that still remains to be seen. Did Babby get a nerf off here? Ooh, down goes Porum, and Rydia will probably get wiped as well here.
Oh, gets the last nuke off.
Oh. Ooh.
Oh, no! And he takes a reset.
Hate to see that, man.
That was so close. He's going to just go dive right back in it. He knows it was just some bad luck, so he's going to go at it again.
DM is pulling through. Another upside to the leveling that eLmaGus did here, as you see this virus that confirms that he's kind of still on the right script, is he's got enough beef to really eat his big bangs a little bit easier without worrying about the nerf.
Yeah, he's got Porum in the middle. I don't know what levels, but Porum's got over 2,000 HP. That's enough to eat a big bang at this point in time.
But we definitely know he's past 52. I think he might be in high 50s, actually. Given Palom's HP, either that or he found some golden apples or something.
It does look like Muppets is on his way to a Z fight as well, so he's going to be right on Supremacy's tail.
Here comes the late charger, folks! Muppets in space, heading for the moon. with how Zeromus is in this game, sometimes you just don't know. You don't know how likely you are to just I mean, the randomness of the Big Bang, it's very frustrating for players, for sure.
Yeah, and it's, you know, you can do what Supremacy is doing in charge right back in. You just hope the RNG gods bless you a little bit more.
And Fred's over here blissfully thinking the seed isn't a jet seed. Oh, it's a live that life.
I mean, ought to live that life until about 10 minutes from now when you see 3 dot guns.
Alright, so Babby is down for eLmaGus. I need to revive here. I think he's still in Reflect mode. I think. I haven't really seen.
He's got a lot of black holes. Like, you can see that his Zeromus is getting abilities off much faster than Supremacy's was. Meanwhile, on Muppets in Space side, we have Yang in the middle, so he's got to have a super fast Zeromus fight here.
Actually, his Yang might be 28 as well. I believe Yang is 28 at level 51, so it's possible. I think he might be over, comparatively speaking, but it's possible.
Alright, so he's got Riddy at this point in time, even just doing regular attacks. Wants to avoid the number of nuke counters.
Yeah, it's so hard to keep people through these fights at once. It's such a demanding, intense fight.
Yeah, and 3 folks. We have eLmaGus, Supremacy, and Muppets in Space all on Zeromus at the same time. The first one with the flash wins.
Yeah, when Zeromus dies, the screen will start flashing. It's an indication to dot done. eLmaGus, wow. Look at that Big Bang. That was
Hey, look at that Palem at 8 health.
That was a healthy one right there. Muppet's taking a wipe.
Okay, so eLmaGus is on his nuke stage now, I think.
Man.
Oh, he's on Meteor phase.
It's Meteor. Yep. So this is Zeromus's kind of last stand here.
Final phase. Oh, it's looking good for eLmaGus right now.
Yep. That should be pretty close there.
Did Porm just punch him?
He was trying for the swag there, man. you don't understand, man. You don't get
the
it.
swag punches. You're right. I don't. I am not at a high enough level. I am not on that level.
So this nuke should do it, yeah.
Yeah,
GG.
And there's the flash. GG, eLmaGus finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 3 minutes, and 35 seconds. Whew, that was fast.
What a jet seed. And you know Supremacy and Muppet in the chat, you know, knowing that they have already wiped at least one, you know, just cursing them. Oh.
There's a combination of cursing themselves and at the same time thinking, I was that close. Like, when you're in a race like this against some high-level competition, there gets to be a point where you are just nervous and shaking, and you're like, am I actually going to win this? Especially against someone like eLmaGus. And you might make some mental errors at that point in time.
Supremacy in trouble here.
It's a little bit of trouble. Absolutely. We're going to see if we can get eLmaGus in here for a quick interview. And I believe we are joined. GG, eLmaGus.
Hey, GG.
Good job, Chief. Look good.
Thanks. Didn't even sweat, honestly. All calculated. I ran out of MP at the end there, too, so that was pretty good.
I enjoyed the pour and punch there.
Yeah, I was hoping that would kill, but unfortunately, no dice.
Yeah, so Supremacy actually made it into the fight before, a little bit underleveled in comparison and died a couple times. Muppets is right there. It actually looks like he's now regrinding. And Fred is lost.
Oh, did Fred not? Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, he never found... He saw that and ducked out of me.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, Chad saying you got Crystal... You did get Crystal first. GG. That was a really nice spot to find, I'm sure, after, especially how long the community race seemed to go.
Yeah, all the seats I practiced too were like seats where you had to get at least like 15 or 16 items, so this was definitely something where I was like, okay, alright, now I just have to grind. And then, I don't know, the worst part honestly was that Valvalis was blocking the castle, and I was really thinking of trying to get past that at some point, but then because you don't have 10 items, the grinding if you get another character takes a long time, so you kind of gotta make a decision at that point. It was really, really weird, honestly.
Yeah, I've practiced a couple of kind of a down low, and I also have had a lot of problems finding any of them that end this quickly.
Yeah.
What a jet, man. So the early game, everybody seemed to struggle with that a lot. You found that mute knife, and then all your problems were avoiding charm on Rydia.
Yeah, dude, twice in a row too. Oh man. I mean, I don't know. I was really flipping there. And Borum didn't hit. Okay, I mean barehanded fine, but like then staff, then bow, and then I don't know. That was really I was flipping there, but I thought that could lose you a race. That's the problem, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that I came out ahead at the end, but I don't know. I was definitely unsettled after that for a little bit.
Yeah, all of our runners ran into problems early game. Had multiple resets in Antlion, multiple resets on Mage's Sisters, had multiple resets on Fabul, I think, too.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it was rough, definitely. Can't really say that it wasn't, but yeah.
Fred metagaming the system here. The Dark Knight check. Instantly wiping.
It had like 2 shots. It was just GG from that on. Kind of funny.
That's a good try, Fred.
How much damage did he actually do with the Dark Wave?
Looked
like 1,500 or so. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. I was thinking of actually also, during the grind, I was thinking of going back there and just tanking it to see if I can get something good, but I didn't. I don't know. Again, weird situation, really.
Yeah, you ran into that early Fu, right? In Typo?
Yeah, I knew that he was there, for instance. That would have been, like, my savior. Yeah. I mean, but...
It turns out that the package was the item for Yang's Wife 1, and that was Sid. So that could have helped you, but...
that would have been nice.
Probably a nice time investment that you would have lost overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I underestimated also how long it takes to get Porum to a point where, you know, she could stand a chance, and I was desperately trying to find magic defense items and all that, and it worked out in the end. Like, I mean, I didn't get damage from it once, but it was definitely a struggle.
Yeah, you're struggling just to keep people alive. And Big Bangs were real there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was thinking that Palom and Rydia were going to die. I just wanted to keep Porum alive to heal. And then the actual struggle at the end was that I ran out of MP, and I was like, well, if he doesn't go into medium now, I have a problem. Unfortunately, he did.
Easy game, easy life.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, the worst part about these kind of seeds is also you feel behind all the time. Like, no matter, even if you're ahead by 20 minutes, you feel behind. Like, there's no way you're not feeling behind, because there's so much struggle. I don't know.
Yeah, we were both speculating that pretty much every runner had to feel behind before it started.
Yeah.
So, eLmaGus, did you get much of a chance to see the other matchups that were announced tonight with the rest of the league?
Not yet, no, but I'm going to check that out momentarily, I guess. I had to jump into this pretty much immediately.
Yeah, that weekly was kind of a long one, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially if you did everything. Heh.
But no, I mean, everyone I think is good at this level, but you know, no offense to any of the other runners, myself included, but you are probably the odds-on favorite at this point in time, so I do not have a matchup with you, so I'm grateful for that.
I see.
No, it's great. I'll just bathe in this, man. Magus, you're the best, man.
I am the best, thanks, man. Nah, I mean, I don't know. It's rando, man.
Yep. And this especially, is just as you showed earlier, that weekly seed. I mean, these K2 seeds, you can't really predict anything. It's all up for grabs.
Yep.
The Muppets is finally regrinded. Supremacy also regrinded.
Yeah, I do not blame Supremacy. He's keeping Palom at his low HP self at this point in time. I still don't know what level his Palom is at for that agility nerf.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on this menu screen. 37. I'm not sure if he has like a first ring or anything. That should put him somewhere above 28. I'm sorry, below, somewhere above 14. Probably in the high teens. The wrong thing. But alright, Magus, thanks for joining. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Good
Great
luck
race.
to the other runners. Thank you. Thank you for commentating and restreaming. Always a pleasure. And yeah, good luck to everybody in the tournament. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, eLmaGus, and if you haven't already, go ahead and give him a follow here on Twitch. eLmaGus is the one to follow if you want to get better at this game, because he has all the strats, and by all the strats I mean just copy exactly what he does and you'll be fine.
So Fred is finally picking out. After all these years, he's finally to avenge his tragic failures. Sisters.
We see Muppets already going back. Looks like he's ready for revenge.
Turns out, guys, Quake is much better at killing the Magus sisters than anything anybody had earlier.
What? That doesn't seem right.
Yep, it's true. Okay, so let's take stock now. Muppet about to begin. I think either a second or a third fight now. At this point, and Supremacy leveling up to behind him.
I think he's leveling up to the point. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think he's trying to get Rydia over 2,000 just to be able to survive a big bang to the face. And Fred is still on the hunt for something. I don't know if it's equipment that he's looking for at this point.
I think he may be looking for things to don't know. Maybe he is looking for. I was saying maybe at this point he would be looking for things to sell to buy more coffins and whatnot.
So right now, Muppets in Space is on his Zeromus fight, where at one point we had 3 runners all in Zeromus, both Muppets, and Supremacy said, I gotta do a little bit more. I think it's worth noting that eLmaGus did spend a little bit more time grinding than Supremacy did. Like, he got to a point where he felt safer, I think.
It's hard to say that Supremacy made the wrong decision there, because, I mean, he knows that he's up against one of the best that plays this randomizer. He knows that he has to take some risks. So I totally get it.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not
Yeah.
doubting it at any point. You have to take a little bit of risks in a randomizer. At the same time, I think, my opinion has always been whenever you do a randomizer race, it's a lot like playing golf. It's not necessarily about always making the best plays, but minimizing the bad plays.
Yeah, I mean, that does help. I'll give you that. Playing the tight game, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we've got Zemus as we've already. That's right. And Muppets is trying to get far enough down this line where he actually kills Zemus with the babbies.
He thought he had nerfed that Big Bang. Did not. Took full damage to the face, but is going to go ahead and be able to heal up.
I'm a little surprised that Rick's been left to ponder her resistance. Does he have life potions? Has he seen those?
I think he has, and yeah, that Big Bang, that black hole really put him behind. So he's got a life 2 Yang, and he's going to try to get life. Yeah, I don't know if he has any life potions, honestly, at this point.
To answer that question, FF4 record, both contested categories, is held by the Roth. He does not play the randomizer, but he is an Aussie magician if you want to. He's amazing at this game.
Oh, and he's got a big nuke counter followed by a Big Bang. I do not believe Porm is going to survive this. So if he does not have those life potions, he is doing the reset. Supremacy now starting his Zeromus fight. I think Supremacy is in a pretty confident position right now as well.
So at this point, both of these guys, and this is real. These are real points to be one of us here. Just trying to have, as you said, a clean fight here.
They're both taking a few risks with, nuke reflex strats and things of that nature. So but given the party composition they're given, there's not much other choice you really have to do that.
Yeah, it's either you keep diving other things trying to characters, or go with what you got, and pretty much everybody at this point's going with what they got. And now we're going to see them both start this fight like an backward. This is great.
Yeah, Supremacy is leveled up to the point where even Rydia, with her normally low HP, will be able to survive a full shot Big Bang. So he's going to let Palem, take a dirt nap and then go at this point, I think. Meanwhile, Fred is starting his egg grind now.
So it looks like, just to pop in try and answer the question, it looks like there are no life potions in Muppet's inventory. So that complicates things a little bit. Life potions were in, I believe, Agart, where you drop the key down the well. They were in that item shop.
Yeah, I do believe you were right there. Oh, eLmaGus raided us with a party of 88. Oh, welcome all the eLmaGus folks.
Pog champ, yo. Alright, so we're gonna see Supremacy here trying to do the new kill, or are we just going to see reflected there? So to kind of go into this a little bit, Zeromus has 61,000 HP. Any damage that he takes directly from 45,000 on will trigger a hidden counter where he will reset his HP and change phases. Because you can reflect spells off wall and not get hit by the counter nuke, runners will sometimes set up this sort of scenario where they put a wall up and then nuke off of it. You can also, if you know the correct HP damage timings, actually kill Zeromus with reflected nukes before he can ever use trigger, because any reflected damage is not direct damage. But so far, it looks like neither of our runners on screen tried this simply to avoid the damage done on the counters.
Worth noting that that same sort of strategy is also useful if you have the dragon lunars, the D lunars, in kind of an awkward spot, because as soon as you attack them normally, they start their wall virus phase. So if you used reflect strats on those D lunars, it's kind of the same concept. Without that direct attack, they'll never actually enter that counter phase.
Abby is down for Supremacy. And yeah, this is one of the scenarios, just so you guys aren't thinking like, you know, these guys are scrubs or something. This is a really tough scenario. The way this played out, they don't have a lot. And Porum and Palm and Rydia all have terrible HP, growth, and stats the entire game on purpose. This is actually a big challenge to navigate this fight, this party.
And Black Hole. So, I mean, I think Supremacy's still in a good spot. I'm most worried about Porum's magic at this point in time. But otherwise, he's in a good spot. Muppets is also looking pretty strong with his HP right now, although Porum is a little bit lower HP.
So I got a question for you that's kind of off the wall. But if you were Fred, would you think that you had it pretty made and start grinding, or would you actually try to go mode this as fast as you could?
I think as soon as I see the eLmaGus done, I'm trying to go as fast as I can, because I presume the other runners are right on his tail. So with this particular party, if you're confident in your nuke strats, you know, you can kind of go with it. I would just have to go with nuke strats and go at a relatively low level and try to play catch up. You probably, as you know, when the dot gun came in, you just assume that you're so far behind that you might even be in fourth place, so you have to take a gamble. And that's what the name of the game is, and you know, these free-for-all 4-on-1 matches. It's not about, you know, your Z-score anymore. It's just,
we've got the media. We've got the media.
Oh, Supremacy's in a good spot.
Takes him down. Second place, GG to Supremacy.
GG
SRL time
Supremacy.
is 1:23:13. So hopefully we can get him in here for an interview while Muppets is dealing with his fight here.
Well, that's a good nuke target if he can get this heal off. All right, and joining us now is Supremacy. GG, sir.
GG.
So, you beat Vegas in, and that happened. That was rough, man.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do?
Gotta go fast, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was kind of I thought about going in for a third time before going out to grind again, but just decided, you know, this is insanity if I try again, and it just fails, so.
Ooh, poor, I'm getting wiped again on Muppet Stream.
Oh man, that was an unlucky and a powerful Big Bang. That stinks there. Now Muppets is on. You and Muppets were real close there for a while. But to give you even more hints, Supremacy, you were at Zeromus first. You had a good minute and a half to 2 minute lead on eLmaGus, getting to Zeromus himself.
I thought I might, just because nobody had that done yet, so I thought maybe people went other routes and just didn't find the crystal there as quickly, but if I had actually spent that extra 2.5 minutes just grinding a few higher levels, I probably wouldn't have wiped twice and might have actually been able to come ahead of him.
Yeah, you got the crystal probably about 1.5 minutes behind him, and I believe Magus went and shopped for sirens again, sirens and coffins. So that was his whole game.
I also believe Magus went and to the dwarf castle shopping for a 5th character and saw Vivalas and said, nope.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I did, except I did it at the low level before the crystal, and I was like, well, I did just grind to Quake, maybe I can... Nope, Quake's not gonna hit. Alright, reset.
Oh, interesting. So Muppets is now going... Metagaming off the finishes. Muppets is now actually going back into Dwarf Castle. I wonder if he's looking for like Cure 3s or some kind of treasure. Maybe he's gonna fight Valvolus.
I was really hoping to find a cat claw or something somewhere, but the at least the wizard helmets and wizard robes helped with magic defense in the very least.
So yeah, talk about the early game a little bit, because that was brutal for pretty much everyone. We saw multiple wipes with this party and the boss fights that you guys did in Antlion and trying to get Yang free from Hobbs.
Yeah, I felt super bad going into Antlion, clearing it out, and then having to leave because I just couldn't deal with Plague. But once I actually went back, and I think it was in Mist, I found the Dancing Dagger. I was like, oh good, I can do things now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, those plays for the Dancing Dagger really. And I think you were the first one to actually beat CPU on stream. So, I mean, that helped out immensely.
Oh yeah, I was so relieved to see CPU there and not anything like difficult. It's like, alright, I can just throw daggers at this guy like 10 times and I'm good.
Just time loss, nothing big, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We're at kind of an interesting inflection point. Fred, who was a little bit lost there, last one to the crystal, is actually looking like he's getting ready to start his Zeromus approach. Meanwhile, Muppets backed out and is doing a Vivalas kill, trying to get another character. Only one to kill Vivalas, actually. So he's grinding, trying to find a 5th character. In the meantime, Fred might be taking and stealing that 3rd place spot.
So I'm guessing just about everybody had the exact same party.
Andy's giving it Edward.
Lucky Muppets found Edward.
Nice. Hey, at least he can now hide on Zeromus.
He sure can. If anybody found Cure 3s, that would be Andy.
Muppets is a seasoned Cataseeder runner. He knows how to use Edward.
20 more levels. Hey, Edward could survive a nerfed one. It's possible. But yeah, that was pretty disappointing for the time investment for Muppets. He's got a kick in himself right now.
So it's interesting, and I'm watching through the credits. I see Earth Crystal was on the Dark Knight Cecil spot, and I almost thought about doing it because I thought, maybe Yang can survive 3 hits. Yeah, but I don't know if that would have led me to go find more characters before I started grinding.
We saw Fred try that fight before. He got some 1500 HP Dark Waves to the face.
Yeah, never mind. Really glad I didn't try it then.
So, to your party question, the only characters we've Hallam, Rydia, Porum, Yang, Sid, who was behind the Yang wife item, which was the package, and the first Self Cave item, I should say, and then now on stream, Edward, Muppet stream.
Oh man, I would have killed for Sid.
Yeah, Sid's pretty good. Sid's pretty hardy.
I realized halfway through my grind that, like, oh yeah, I don't really have a very good anchor. And then I saw that Palom was at 16, and I was like, good enough.
Yeah, that's what we figured happened. So Muppets found the Sand Ruby. He's going to go free. So yeah, Uncle Mop be in play here. It's funny, we started this stream talking about how long and involved most of these seeds are, and useful because of it, and now I don't even know if Muppets good enough bosses to to have full power.
And then, surprise, it's a sneaky jet seed.
Yep.
It was super sneaky like that. And Fred gets the worst luck ever. I think he opens up with a counter nuke to Porum's face and then a Big Bang immediately after.
Ouch.
Sounds about right. I mean, the worst luck ever is Muppets do this a couple times too. Yeah, it's... Fred actually has life potions. I don't know if Muppets are different. Looks like Fred is actually going to go straight. Yeah, Fred has got Palom and Rydia both at this point, so he is going for the straight. He's not even going to bother berserking Sid or Yang at all. Just going to be completely reflecting that nuke.
I thought about doing that, actually. But especially after the regrind, I was like, you know what, Yang's gonna hit rather hard. Just go to town.
And I mean, he got the heal. I think he got the big. Yeah, I got the Big Bang nerf off. But man, Palom and Rydia are both very close to dead.
Doesn't matter if he kills here. Gotta find that star now. There it is. There it is. Muppets now approaching the fight as well. It's gonna be close.
It'll be very, very close. Oh man, these strats are just really fun to see because they're kind of edge case strats, but when you can use them with a party like this, they're so effective.
Oh man, Fred is going for it here. I admire this. This is beautiful. And there it is.
And there it is. Wow. Fred coming from behind, stealing that third place win.
Yeah.
GG, Fred Coughlin.
GG, Fred.
Wow. And Muppets, this is a brutal. Man, you've got a point of coming in this race with point. Oof. Feel bad, especially given how early on Zeromus he was, but let's hope we can finish up here. Maybe we can get Fred in. Supremacy, thanks so much for joining us, man.
Yeah, no problem.
You really put on a show today, and even though you kind of gambled and it backfired, man, it's fun to watch. Thanks so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for running the league, Rivers. I mean, this is a really good time, so shout out to you.
No worries. Thank you a lot. Okay. So, let's see if we can bring Fred in. Alright, so Muppets at least showing us the Fusaya and Edward locations.
I mean, that has value, right? Right?
Yep. Comedic value.
Oh, and I mean, this is such a mage-heavy party. You know, if a lot of people, I think, got through the qualifier round, myself included, kind of leaning pretty heavily on Berserk stress. No way that was even possible in this particular seed.
Well, I mean, you had Sid and Yang, so yeah, pretty much no. This is another failed nerf, it looks like. Big Bang coming down, and getting bounce on that nuke. Staying alive at least one more cycle there. So I guess that's one. In one way, you can say that Muppets was fortunate.
And we're joined now by the man, the myth, the legend, Fred Coughlin. GG coming in third, stealing that third place.
No, the GG does not apply to that game.
Fred, I know you don't want to hear this. You were behind pretty much the entire race. You were the last person to find Crystal by 20 or 30 minutes, and you showed off the reflex strats and got by Muppets solely on that.
You know, let's see here. I cannot say on this channel the words I would like to actually say right now because I know it's a PG something channel, but yeah, basically that early part of that seed could just go fly a kite, I guess, and yeah, yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I think everyone struggled on that early part of the seed. Like,
yeah, but not everyone apparently thought that they saved outside the somewhere down in the lunar there, and right outside Dwarf Castle before I went in, and apparently didn't, and lost all the way back to ordeals.
That's true. You were also the last person to get Yang.
Yeah, because of the fact that those Mega Sisters were beyond evil.
People were using the mute knives. That was kind of the big key for them.
There was a mute knife?
Yep. There was a knife in the Fabul shop, I believe.
Ah, didn't even notice it. Oops. Probably have to mark that down to keep track of that for the future.
Yeah, that was a brutal early seed, and you were not the only one struggling with it. You were the last one to get Yang, but pretty much everybody reset to that fight and the Plague fight at least once, I think. Good for eLmaGus.
Yeah, those were painful. I could have had the Plague fight the first time too. I thought I had the rod not the rod equipped, the whip equipped.
Yep. But I mean, hey, you came back, you showed off the beautiful reflex strats.
That was the only chance I had at that point. There was no way that party was going to win on a damage race, so.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it worked, and hey, the chat loved it.
Okay.
They called it impressive. They said, "What a comeback!" Fred Coughlin is great. You see?
I've diluted them for one race. Woohoo!
Bask in the glory, my friend. Bask in it.
Oh yeah.
But no, I mean, was there anything else that really stuck out in the seed for you? It's like, that maybe threw you for a loop as you were going through.
Just all the walls of, okay, here's Pora Meridia, and yeah, have lots of fun there. Ashura was a pain in the rear end, and then, of course, OG, it was a spoon, and then losing that all as part of the reset debacle there was tough. Going up to the top of the tower and running into whoever it was up there, discovering that wasn't going to be viable. It was like all the avenues were incredibly inviable, it felt like, for a mage and Sid team to try to get through. So there were just a lot of walls. I went back to the Ashura spot in the end, where the two guards were, just out of desperation. I was like, okay, that's the only thing I can actually kill right now.
Yeah, you were the only one who actually Sid, I believe.
Really?
Nobody else picked up the package. Muppets actually later got through the Davos spot, only to find your pal Edward hanging out there.
Oh, joy!
And
to be fair, though, then the key item he received was Sand Ruby with food sitting in a bed, so that was nice.
That's an auto win.
That was an upgrade. Well, Fu only had 1400 HP, and Muppets is still struggling through this one. He's got Porm alive, but that's about all he's had going for him besides Berserk Yang.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's been we've seen a lot of Zeromus step, and now I'm up down to his last 37 on Forum. This will be a clutch win if he actually gets it.
Yeah, it looks like he's got a Zerk Yang going.
Oh,
so
here's Meteo. Here's Meteo. Come on.
You can do it, Muppets!
I think he's got this.
It's nerve-wracking, though. I mean, it's always nerve-wracking at this point.
Alright. Muppets in Space, 4th place with an official 1:30:31. Dot finaling on kill. Ooh, that was tough to watch.
Yeah, I don't think... I mean, eLmaGus grinded a little bit more than everyone else, but I think everyone had at least one, if not reset, death. Like, straight-up death to Zeromus, because this was just a horrible setup that you had to work with. Oh, Fred didn't have any Z-wipes, that's right. GG to our first round of the league races. eLmaGus coming in first with 4 points. Supremacy second with 3 points. Fred with 2 points, and Muppets in Space with his 1 point.
And we're now joined by Muppets. How you doing, sir?
Well, I spent a considerable amount of time in the Zeromus fight, so that was interesting.
You sure did, man. You sure
Good
did.
Lord. I think I entered my first Zeromus fight at, 53 minutes or something like that?
There was a time when you, Supremacy, Magus were all in the fight at the same time. Nerve-wrackingly cool. Then Magus won, and you guys did not.
Yeah, was I the only person who tried it with 4 characters?
No, you were not.
Okay. I had a feeling as much. Yeah, that fight is very strange with 4 characters. There's like some weird timing stuff, and he seems faster.
Yeah, that was really tough to watch. But I mean, you did your best, man. That was a tough draw.
I mean, I've done the Zeromus fight with 4 characters before, but I don't think I've done the Zeromus fight with basically 4 mages and a squishy meat bag.
Yeah, and you had no life potions.
I had no life potions, I had no silk webs, I had no cure 3s. I was going in about as bareback as you possibly could, and I paid the price for it.
Yeah. You life potions were, I think, in the Agart item shop.
Really?
So
I thought I checked Agart.
I don't know if you saw them and missed it, or how that worked.
I must have missed it.
That one decision was...
Yeah, I must have missed it. I should have gone back and, like, scoured for some more items, too. And the funny thing is that with all of the restarts at the top of the run, I sort of got thrown off of my normal route, and I think that I may have actually missed some stuff because of that, too. So, kids, if you're watching out there, don't let the game rattle you. Stick to your plan.
Yeah, everybody had plenty of wipes or resets early on for sure. Those were some ugly battle locations for those characters.
Yeah, that was an ugly beginning for just, baby mage and white mage?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was the kids fighting Zeromus, and that was felt like an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
Kind of.
Nice,
so yeah, That was an adventure, and I'll probably be doing that fight a bunch more before the next time I do this.
Yeah, not exactly the way you want to start off the league format, man, but
You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't look at this Zeromus fight as indicative of what I'm going to do for the rest of the league. Losing 50 minutes on the final fight that's about as much of an outlier as it can be, you know? I feel like I ran this pretty well, given all of the hardships, and just died to the final fight an awful lot more than I usually do. Something to look at. I'm not super happy with it, but I'm not unhappy with the way the rest of the seed went.
that's good, man. I would expect nothing less from you. You seem very mentally tough. And I know you won't let this beat you. Do you have any final thoughts before we cut off, Muppets?
That's the last time I'm doing a 4-character party, I think. But other than that, no. I don't really have any final thoughts. It's just really tough stuff, and get ready for a wild ride.
All right, man. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks
Yes,
for
sir. Thank you.
On short notice, no less. That was Space. Vitasia, you want to close us out?
Oh no! Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you want to keep following the action, keep it here. Make sure to follow RPG Limit Break. Our other matches going to be on. They're mostly going to be on RPG Limit Break, correct?
Correct.
So we are. Stay tuned. Go ahead and follow this channel if you want to watch more league action for this. Go ahead and give all of our runners a follow. Supremacy, fcoughlin, muppetsinspace, eLmaGus. They're all great. One last big shout out to Shala Kitty, our wonderful tracker, doing all the work behind the scenes, not just tracking, but taking care of a lot of the Zeromus sprites and other things that are going on. And my wonderful commentator, Rivers. Man, I love working with you so much.
Maybe a little too much sometimes, but also I want to make sure to say thanks to our restreamer Neum, who put in the behind the scenes work as well for this. So glad that we could put this together on kind of short notice and ninja it and get a hype opening for everybody.
Absolutely. So that's going to go ahead and do it for those of us at Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Remember, stay tuned for more randomizer action. Be on the lookout for more matches as they're going to be scheduled. And we will see you guys at the next match.